Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Triple T Outdoors. I'm your host, Tyler. We got Tucker here. We got one guy missing. He decided he wanted to take a long vacation to Thailand. So we have a couple guys stepping in. We have a guest, and we have a guest host here. One guy here to my right, your left, is a familiar voice. This is Matt. Introduce yourself again.
Matt Peters.
And then our guest today is, I never did catch your last name, but I know your first name is Dan.
Dan Price.
Dan Price. You're a good friend of these guys, right?
Yeah, me and Matt are cousins.
Oh, yeah? Well,
bunch of stories.
So, yeah, I've heard a lot of things about you as far as your stories, and that's kind of
It's all good, though, right?
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. But, yeah. So we want to get you in here and talk about some of the stuff that you've experienced in your life, and obviously most stuff in the outdoors world, right?
Yeah, a lot with Matt.
Yeah.
What do you mainly focus on, Dan, hunting wise?
Coon hunting's my favorite.
Coon hunting,
Rabbit, squirrel.
So that's the similarity between you and Matt there. Is
Yep.
coon hunting.
coon hunting.
That makes sense.
We pretty much grew up coon hunting, and Dan was about 6 months older than I am, so he had his driver's license first.
Yep.
So he started picking me up when we were teenagers. We started hunting from then.
Yep. We went duck hunting a couple times out of Matt's Nova.
Right? 76 Nova. Play Stairway to Heaven while he's waiting on
Shoot.
Yep.
daylight.
Man, that's a good time right there.
That and ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. Yep.
Every tape Matt had in his horseshoeing truck was ZZ Top. All the way to Medina horse shows. ZZ Top.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Do you have a squirrel dog, Dan?
Yeah.
What kind?
He's half cur, half walker.
Any
trees
good? Any good?
He's better than most that I've had.
Yeah.
Had a lot of dumb ones.
Coon at night, squirrel during the day.
Yeah, he's better at squirrel hunting now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like they favor one or the other. They're never really great at both.
Right.
Like we had a mountain cur. It loved coon more than squirrels.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all very.
Yeah.
I've had Feist, all kinds of different crossbreds, but he's a pretty good one.
Do you lean more towards what you got now than a Feist?
Yeah, I like the Feist a lot better. I like their look. I mean, he looks kind of goofy being a big bob-tailed black, white, and tan dog, but I don't care what they look like on the tree. You know, they all look good.
As long as they tree.
As long as they tree and have one, he's pretty accurate.
I've never squirrel hunted with a dog. It's always been just like sit there and wait for something to bark in the wood, you know?
It's a different ball game for sure. A lot more action.
You know, honest, and up until we started doing this podcast stuff, I never even heard of a squirrel dog.
Oh, yeah?
I've never heard of it until we started doing this. And why hunt squirrels with a dog?
It's just more fun.
Just more fun. You just gotta,
It's just like coon hunting in the daytime.
oh, I guess that
You
makes
don't
sense.
sit and wait.
Yeah.
You're
You
always
go.
going after the dog. The dog's running the track, treeing, and you're always going from tree to tree to tree to shoot the squirrel.
Yep.
I guess all dogs love chasing squirrels.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a coon dog right now. She's about 9 months old, but her favorite sport is rabbits.
That would be a fast rabbit dog.
I've had her tree a coon on the bird feeder once, but every time I turn her loose, she's gone. Rabbits just circling, and runs right with my beagles.
I could say I've had coon dogs run deer before, but I've never had a coon dog run rabbits.
Yeah, I got a first strike in a night hunt about 15 years ago. He started running rabbits. Mike, up in Medina, cut the dogs loose. He headed for the Greenbrier patch. Right off the rip, I'm with Terry Huff, and I'm like, strike him. And I'm like, oh. Terry goes, he leans over and he goes, you know that's a rabbit. And I'm like, shut the hell up. So about 2 minutes into the chase, another dog about 100 yards hit a tree. Mike dropped the rabbit. Went in, I had second tree. And that guy wasn't real happy.
Because his dog did all the work and he piggybacked off of it.
But Mike didn't run any more rabbits that night, and I won the cast.
So, should we start this out by talking a little bit about what we've been doing, like little recap since our last
Yeah,
episode? Real
probably
quick?
should. Probably should.
So I guess I'll start off with, clearly Tyson's not here. Tyson took a little family trip to Thailand. He'll be back probably 2 episodes, so we'll catch back up with him whenever that'll happen. I'm sure we'll have lots of stories about that. As far as me, I've had a lot of new experiences the last couple weeks, and I know that's kind of a common reoccurrence every time we do an episode, but I've done a couple new things since last. We went pigeon hunting. Up until we started doing this podcast, didn't even know it was a thing. Once again,
Did you use a dog?
yeah, Roger had a dog. It wasn't as eventful as I thought it was going to be, but it was a lot of fun.
How many did you kill?
Oh man, we got 11 that day,
11? That's still not too bad.
and then it was like about a week before dove season started, and we seen more dove than we seen pigeon.
Yeah.
And they were even like cupping into the decoys and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
That's how it usually works.
And we're just sitting there looking at all these dove we could kill in like a couple days, and then we didn't see the pigeons as much as we thought we were going to. But there were some wild looking pigeons. I didn't know they had so many little different like color schemes to them. And then September 1st rolls around, we hit dove season, so I got to experience that for the first time, and that is so much fun.
We had a pretty good evening at my house.
Yeah, I've never had a dream about hunting, and I had a dream about dove hunting after my first night. it was awesome.
Did you go buy a retriever the next day?
Well, I had a retriever, but he hasn't been on a dove hunt with me yet. His first hunt was 2 weeks ago out at their place. And
Retrieving some pheasants.
yeah, he did pretty good. Last night we used him as a beer pong retriever. So he was getting, as the balls would go down the road, he would go get them. It was perfect. But yeah, it was.
We ended up killing 33.
Yeah.
33 doves
33 that night.
that night.
Came back the next day and
Killed 15.
yeah, about halved it.
Yep. So
It was a good time.
a lot of fun. A lot of shooting. How many shells did you shoot, Tyler?
Man, I brought 100 shells and went through all of them.
Did you really?
Like 20 of them. And the
And,
next
and you
day,
killed 11?
yeah, I probably killed 11. Maybe 11.
Hey, it's better than 10.
It was.
What'd we have? 3 shooters most of the time. Then he bowed out a little bit
Yeah.
early. He had to go get ducks.
Everything was happening. It was pretty lull for the first 2 hours. We started 7 o'clock or something.
We
like that?
scratched some. We had probably about 7
Yeah,
before.
but as soon as the sun hit on the other side of the trees, it opened up. There was more dove
flying.
you can count, and I couldn't get shells in my gun fast enough.
No
Yeah.
good.
And I was putting shells in my gun, pulling it up, not even like getting it to my shoulder all the way and pulling the trigger. I had a bruise on my arm like that because it was just so exciting just to get going. And you get shells in your gun, you're back up there, and it was exciting. And then next day, kind of the same thing. But I made a rookie mistake, and I wore shorts and no mosquito repellent.
Bugs ate you.
I got ate alive.
Then we end up cleaning those doves. We're gonna plan on cooking them for the week of gun season.
Yeah, we're gonna have
a day.
Yeah, that Monday. We all do the-
Jalapeno poppers.
Jalapeno poppers.
and then the wife's gonna make those pumpkin
Oh
things
yeah,
again.
you gotta make them. I think Kale said that his mom's gonna make some sloppy joes. So
I might be
be-
able to do a pork roast or something. So we're gonna pull some pulled pork or something.
should
We're
be
not
fun.
gonna go hungry, that's for sure.
No, not this year. Not this year. We had cookies and
Dan,
sweets last
you
time.
deer hunt, Dan?
I've killed a few, but not too much.
Would you do go on a deer drive with us?
I could do that.
Yeah.
Sure. The only time I ever went before, I was getting shot at, and I was like,
Yeah.
On a pass,
I
I
think
think
I'm gonna-
shot at
All right,
with
we
a
won't
sling.
shoot at you.
I'm going to hunt by myself from now on. I really like you guys. Thanks for the invite, but boy, I'm busier than hell tomorrow. I just don't think I'm going to make it.
So what about you, Tucker? Let's recap you. What have you been up to?
Yeah, you pretty much. I did a lot of that stuff with you. I mean, we did that dove hunt, and then I just been working, doing duck hunts and pheasant hunts, and cleaning some birds, and killed some doves. And then me and Roger and my dad went back to the same place you went pigeon hunting. We went dove hunting. We seen 3 doves.
Zippo.
That's wild.
We
because
only killed one. He killed one.
the amount of dove we seen that day.
Yeah, it was a letdown.
Ridiculous. It had to have been hunted or something.
It had to have been. I don't know. They just weren't there like they were. So we kind of picked up early. We're like, this ain't it. We got to go find a different spot. So we're driving down the road, and there we seen about 150 pigeons just grazing like cows out across this field. It was freshly tilled dirt, and they were everywhere. I'm like, we need to hunt there. Roger's like, well, I got permission there. We can hunt there. So he didn't know if we were allowed to hunt that particular spot. So we double checked with the farmer, and then went back in. We hunted for about an hour.
An hour.
Tops. We didn't go when it was prime time because we missed it in the early mornings. Is probably your best shot. And we ended up killing eight pigeons, 8 doves.
Yep.
We killed 16. I mean, it's still a lot of fun. We've seen a lot of pigeons. That flock that was kind of like went off. They went back onto the silos and they came back to us. And they were like, there was 100 of them in front of us. And me and Roger picked the same bird and killed it. We both shot the same bird.
Dusted it.
We dusted it. We didn't kill any other ones because we were focused on the same one.
Him and I did that numerous times when we were in Argentina.
Oh, I bet.
Flock of doves would fly over. We'd both shoot a bird. It was the same bird.
One just looks a little bit better and slower and lower. I mean, it just looks better to you. And you just, I don't know. I don't know what about it just makes you pick it. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Man, I hope coming up here soon. We kind of missed this early goose.
Yeah.
Kind of missed it a little bit, but
Geese are so hard to hunt early on because there's so much grass for them. They're just everywhere.
and the second you find a place where there's a bunch of geese,
They end up moving
they're
on you.
gone.
Yeah.
And then you see them in the most populated areas, which baffles me that they're right next to a shopping center.
Yeah.
600 of them.
You can't hunt there.
No. Go figure.
You can, but it only
Not
be,
legally.
it'd
I
be
was
one
driving-
time.
Yeah. I was driving past the mall and I was looking at the geese and I was like, there's a band, there's a band, there's a band. There's
You
like
seen a
3,
bunch of
there's
bands?
3 bands in this
Oh my
big old
God.
flock of geese. I just go wring their neck and throw them in the back of the truck. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that's kind of a good recap, huh?
Yeah, that's probably about it for me.
So let's just why don't you take the reins on this one and kind of talk to Dan a little. I don't know a lot about his stories and anything that really to ask. So
Dan is full of good stories. Every time Dan comes down hunting bullseye, I swear he hunts for an hour and we talk for another extra hour after that. And he tells stories. I've heard some stories twice, and I've laughed just the same about most of them.
Dan, it's pretty much true. You can go coon hunting and have the best story every single time you go because something crazy happens
There's
every time.
never a dull moment. That's what makes it fun. Some nights you wish you wouldn't hunt.
I've been out before and
Crawled
I
through the
thought,
briars,
boy, I wish I would have stayed at home tonight.
cussed, get in there, and then debate on what to do with that dog.
So you had some good stories. Some of the stories I like to listen to you tell was you might have turned dog loose on property you was allowed to hunt on, but it ended up not being on property he wasn't allowed to be on.
3/4 of the time.
3/4 of the
Most
time.
of the time.
Dad swears. Go ahead.
It's you can't. I'm convinced after coon hunting for years, you cannot coon hunt legally because you can go in the middle of 13,000 acre piece that you're allowed to be on. They'll go right through that and tree on a half acre somewhere where you're not supposed to be in their backyard.
Yes. One night, that same dog, that Mike dog, he was running deer pretty good, and he wasn't smart enough yet to get off on a coon. And he was in Multiflower Roads behind the house. I turned loose about a mile down the road, and he ran a deer to the house, and it was a farm, and it was all cut out briars. Well, I can't crawl in there and get him. So I'm sitting out front of the house, backed off as much as I could. Sheriff pulls up. Oh, here we go. But I couldn't see him. He parked, where he's safe. case I do something stupid. I explained to the guy what was up. He was a real nice guy. Wasn't, being a smart ass or anything. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, hey, my dog's up in there. He's too dumb to get out of there and tree a coon. I'm just waiting on him so I don't, have to go home and then get a phone call and come back tomorrow. Hey, no problem. He said, I just had to answer the call because somebody called and said you were sitting out here and it's 1 o'clock. And he said, hey, have a good night. Get out of here as soon as you can. I'm like, no problem. I'll see you. Thanks a lot. So I never moved. He turned around. It wasn't 10 minutes. It was probably like 5. He pulled back up. Same exact spot. He says, I thought I told you to get the hell out of here. I wanted to say some bad things, but it's a cop, so I'm just froze like, what? And then he got to laughing. Well, here was a good buddy of mine, Joe Lowry's son, Bruce Lowry, who's a sheriff. He just happened to be on Old Town Valley Road, and he heard the call, heard my name come across, and he's like, I'm going to go mess with Dan. I can't believe we didn't wake the people back up that made the phone call because we were standing out there laughing.
It seems like about every time you go, somebody's calling the sheriff on you.
Oh, geez.
Somebody's shooting their shotgun down through the trees,
Yeah.
cussing at you. Boy, I tell you,
That's
it's
enough to not hunt anymore.
It's all.
You start getting shot at.
I
Yeah.
can't believe we did it every night,
All the time.
over and over. Yeah, we got shot at last night. Let's see if we can't get shot at again tonight.
Yeah. Me and Dinger was out one night out at Old Town. This was 25 years ago. They ran a deer, all 3 of them. They got treed, and Dinger's all nervous. He's like, this guy will shoot. And I'm like, it's cold. There's an inch of snow on the ground. Why would he shoot? He's in bed. It was 1 or 2 in the morning. We walked in there, and one of John's dogs was clear up in the tree. It was a big leaning tree on a high wall.
Climbed it.
And I just said, what are we going to do about Sue? And the guy up on top of the ridge starts blazing. Boom, boom, boom. He's hammering. Our lights go out. Dinger says, Sue, let's go. So we're running through the woods with our lights out. At least there was some snow on the ground. We're running, and we heard a thump. We're like, oh, Sue came down. So I give him my dog, and he went to the truck. I went back, got Sue, and that guy's still up on the hill blazing. I don't know what he was saying, but it wasn't nice things. He was screaming.
The last time I had a dog climb a tree, I got the dog off of you. Her name was Rudder.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Rudder?
She was tough.
She climbed a tree. We get there. She's 35 plus feet in this tree. And there was 3 or 4 of us there. No way to get her down. So we come up with this plan. I took my coat off, and I had 2 guys hold the coat for like a trampoline. Stand underneath her. When she comes down, you catch her. So I squalled with the coon squall, and she turned around and started to come back down. Of course, she fell 30 feet. Here comes the guys. They're watching. You want to catch her? All of a sudden, poof! This dog hits on the ground right beside him. And missed her.
They didn't catch her, huh?
They missed her.
Knocked
She
the-
laid there,
Knocked
coughed
the
and
wind out of her.
Oh, yeah.
coughed and spit and sputtered for 15 minutes. I thought it killed her.
She probably bounced.
She didn't land on her feet. She landed like on her side,
Oh,
flat.
God.
I thought it killed her, but she was okay.
Oh, that's
boy.
good.
Yeah, there's.
Let's hear about this story. You guys were ranting and raving on the way here. I'm telling them to hold the stories for the podcast about this dog that got in the water with the coon.
Oh,
At the time, I have a broken leg, so I'm on crutches.
he's on crutches.
How'd you break your leg?
I did it wrestling.
Yeah, at Cleveland State.
Yep.
But yet,
And by-
he's home on crutches. He has 3 screws, if I got it right,
Well, there's
sticking
5
out.
screws.
5 screws with wing nuts on them on the outside of his skin. And he's got to go into the doctor, I think, like once a week, and they go in there and tighten them up. But whenever Matt called and said, I want to go coon hunting, I'm like, what? You mean you can sit on the tailgate? No, I'm going coon hunting. So he went. Well, I ain't got to tell him no, you know.
You have to understand, though, I was on crutches for the better part of a year.
Right.
It wasn't like in 6 weeks I'm going to go coon hunting.
Yeah.
Right.
It was too long. I wasn't going to wait that long.
Right.
No patience. No patience.
So
So my dog got in a big creek. Wasn't we in Rush Township?
we was in Rush Township.
How long ago you think was this?
This was
That was April. That was my first coon
It
hound.
was in 89. 89. No, it wasn't. Yeah, but
It was April. The dog, not April the month.
okay.
April the dog. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't name her. It just
Pretty
stuck. 'Cause
feminine
that's
name,
what was
Dan.
on the paper. I know. I called her all kinds of things but April. She never listened. Good dog, just you couldn't call her. You know.
So we know that this dog has the coon in the creek. There's a real sharp bend in the creek, and the coon is up underneath the bank.
We were hunting with my brother.
Yep. So coon and water and a coon dog is very dangerous to be around because a coon will drown the dog. It'll climb right on the dog's head and drown it. And we know this, and we know they're in the creek. So I have the rifle. Dan takes off running ahead of me, and I'm crutching as fast as I can go across the field,
Carrying a rifle.
carrying the rifle.
Might as well have been dragging a
His
brick.
brother Corey's behind me, and I hit a cow hole with the crutches, and I'm going as fast as I could go. And I stumble and I fall and I fell face down.
Down goes Frazier. or Anderson if you're an Indians fan.
And all them bolts sticking out of my leg drives down into the mud.
Oh my God.
And all I could think of is we got to save this dog. So I rolled over and I held the gun up in the air. And his brother is running. Here he comes. I pass the gun off like a baton. He don't even see if I'm okay. He just takes the gun and keeps right on running.
And he ran to you. You were waiting on you were looking at the dog in the creek.
He ran to me and I'm trying to follow him because they were
Yeah,
underwater.
the current was taking him down.
Oh, okay.
By this point.
I'm trotting along on the side, and I'd see him, and then I wouldn't because the coon was on the dog's head. I get up there, and I've loaded it. It was a single shot. You know what I mean? It wasn't a
Like a bolt action or a single breakdown?
it
bolt
True
action, single shot.
True single shot.
Okay.
And, no scope or anything.
Open sights.
Open sights, but, if you need a scope, then why take the gun? You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, I'm like, I remember aiming and running, and I'm like, I don't want to kill my dog. And I'm like, Corey, I got it. He's like, you have to shoot. So I shot.
It's gonna drown the dog if you don't.
So I shot and took a chance, and luckily I hit the coon. The coon let go of the dog. The dog made it to the bank. Coon made it to the bank.
How many times did you shoot before you got the coon? Did you
I
miss?
shot. Yeah, I hit it the first time. I heard a thump,
Yeah.
and I'm
Their dog. You're thinking that's my dog.
I was sick.
Yeah.
I'm loading and trotting and shooting.
Yeah.
And then they finally separated. We saved the dog.
Did you ever get the coon?
No, we never did
No,
get the coon.
the coon was still alive up on the bank underneath there, and if I could have shot, I would have.
We never did get the coon.
did get
it. It was-
well, the current carried it down a ways,
Oh, it was a hell of
and
a
it was
ways.
real thick brush on each side of the creek, and we couldn't get to it.
No, because I really wanted that one.
At that point in time, I was just interested in saving the dog.
Right. And then it was like, hey, wonder how Matt's doing.
10 minutes later, they come back to look for me.
Start peeling the mud out of the screws in the side of his leg.
Is this what kicked off the infection? Or was that
No,
after the infection?
That was horse crap that probably boosted that infection.
that was from horseman.
Oh man. So one leg injury turned into a couple years of pain for you.
No, I mean, it was only a year.
Oh.
Only a year. Most people wouldn't have went back to wrestling, but man, he's tough. I don't know how he did it.
I don't know whether I'm tough or
You are.
dumb. One.
You're awesome.
Both.
I was just about to say, but I'm not.
Both.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Well, I'm not a very good wrestler, but I wrestled, and I never took him down once in my entire life, ever.
Maybe I'll do it now.
And I was older than him, weighed more than him, was taller than him, would sneak up behind him, grab him, and somehow Houdini on my back. I mean, I never went to state, but you'd think once.
Yeah, dude.
Once.
One time you can catch him
Sneak
off guard.
attack.
And I'm
him or
like,
something?
if I got to hit him in the head with a stick, I'm going to quit trying. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
How many dogs you got right now, Dan?
I have 2 Walker pups. I have a black and tan broke dog I bought for a pup trainer. First black and tan I ever owned.
I was going to say black and tan. There's got to be a problem there.
Yeah, I couldn't find a walker that didn't run deer to help train my pups, so I bought a black and tan. And I got that cur. And I have 3 beagles.
Oh, you do have beagles?
Yep.
Any good?
Yeah, some are better than others. They're still eating my feed, so they must not be too bad. Because those things, you can go through some before you find a good one.
Yeah. Some of the best coon dogs I ever got, I got off of you.
Yeah, we had a good run there for a while.
I think Rudder was by far the best one I ever got from
Yeah.
you.
The best one you ever bought as far as the name goes, I sold you a dog named Clovis.
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 Old Clovis.
What a name.
Clovis.
He wasn't that good, but he would treat coon.
He'd treat coon.
He treat coon. He wasn't a competition dog, but he would treat coon.
Yeah.
Now, when you say competition, what does that entail? What does competition coon hunting entail?
A lot of insanity. You got to
It's
deal.
either the most fun you've ever had,
Or the
you
worst
swear
day of your
you'll
life.
Never go back again.
Never, ever go back again. About Tuesday, you think, I wonder where the hunt's at Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, what it entails is you go out and they call them they call them casts. You go out in 4-dog groups. You'll have a guide and a judge. You cut the dogs, you get them on a line. You cut them loose, and it's just like a true coon hunt. You cut the dogs loose. Whatever one finds the coon first and barks, then the owner
How
of
do you
that
know-
dog will strike it.
How do you know? How do you know what dog strikes
Well,
out there?
generally, people know the dog's voice. The owner knows the dog's voice.
Unless they cheat and
Unless
just call
they
the
cheat.
first one that barks.
And the very first one that barks, cheaters will strike their dog.
Then you
and
gotta
somebody
fight.
else's dog.
You got cheaters and everything.
If there's money involved, there's cheaters.
And a lot of those hunts, the only thing involves a ribbon or a trophy, and they still cheat.
They
Yeah.
still
You know what I'm
try to
saying? They want the points.
Yeah.
But there's been times that I have gone. One time that I know I had the dog called Rudder I got off of you, and I was hunting with a guy by the name of Kenny Mason. He always has really good dogs.
Really good dogs. And he's a hell of a guy.
He's a super nice guy, and there's a story behind that. There's an off story behind it, but I told him that he ended up beating me at the last 5 or 10 minutes of the hunt. And I told him I'm not a very good loser, but I told him that was the most fun I ever had and lost.
Yep.
We get back to my truck, and I have an old beater coon hunting truck. Believe it or not, I had a deer antler holding the
The green one?
the green one. And the intake, the choke would be stuck on, and it would flood the truck. So one night I took a deer antler and shoved down in there to keep that choke open. And 5 years later, the deer antler was still in the intake.
Oh, I believe it.
But I drove it. Kenny Mason was with me. We get back, and my truck's on fire because it backfired. And that was the only vehicle we had when we was in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, geez.
And I popped my hood, and Kenny Mason took off his coat and got up in the engine and tamped it out and got it out.
No kidding.
Started the truck and drove it back.
Oh my god, that's wild.
Hey, that green truck, you remember that day you had a coon in the bed? You called me up and I said, hey, bring your pups. I got a coon for us. You know, it's in the back of the green truck. He called it the green weenie.
Greeny weenie, yep.
And we're down there and we're talking, and I'm talking to Kim and the kids, and we went out, and Matt it was either a brand new coat or a brand new pair of bibs.
It was a pair of bibs
And
that I had in the bed of the truck with
the coon.
where the coon was.
But the
was
coon-
in a cage.
reached out and grabbed that, whatever it was,
The bibs.
and it was just had that thing riddled. Junk.
He reached through
You
the side
couldn't
of the
patch
cage
it. It was junk.
and pulled the brand new set of bibs piece by piece through that holes, which is only about 1 inch diameter, and chewed a hole in 9 million different places on that.
It was way more funny for me than it was Matt. He was so mad. He had a brand new Peter's horseshoeing hat, and it was up at, the truck was jacked up, so Matt couldn't reach it to hit the cage or the coon. So he took his hat off and he went, "You son of a," and he threw it at the coon. The coon looked up at him, pulled the hat over, and started gnawing on it while we were watching it.
We couldn't even stop it in time. He already had the hat chewed up before I could get in the truck bed and get him off.
I'm surprised he didn't shoot it right there in the bed.
I'll show you.
Dear Lord.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
Well, for me.
It wasn't so
We're still talking about it, though, so it was worth whatever you paid for this bib.
I had half a hat left and a pair of bibs that had 9,000 holes in it. Oh, boy.
One night I was out, and I had that Mike dog, and he would hunt deep. And I could hear him treat. I was clear up on the ridge. I lost him. I used to have one of those beepers with the antenna.
I remember those.
I didn't have a GPS like I have now.
I was little whenever he would.
Yeah, you'd have a little
Now-
antenna. You would fold it out.
Yeah.
Just point it, and when you
Beep,
pointed it in
beep.
the direction, it would beep.
It'd beep faster where he was at.
Yes.
So I'm-
Nowadays, you have a screen that you can tell
GPS.
400 yards that way, and it has an arrow that points right to it.
Yeah, it spoils you.
This spoils you now.
It does. Well, anyway, I go clear out the ridge. I don't know where he was at. I got that beeper. I can't hear him. I finally get to the point, and I'm like, boy, it's kind of muffled, but he's treed. I can hear him good. So I walk clear back to the truck, clear down there. It's like a half an hour later, 45 minutes later. He's still treed, but he's right behind a house trailer. There's not one light on. There's a house up the road, a house down the road, pole lights on. This trailer, is it abandoned? It might have a pole light. I don't know, but it's black. I got to go up there and get my dog. So I'm like, I ain't liking this. You know what I mean? It's midnight or 1, whatever.
That's some sketchy stuff. Right
He's
there.
treed on a 4-inch tree, sapling, whatever, that was right up the wall of the house trailer.
Oh my God.
Slicker and a whistle. Wasn't no coon there. What are you thinking? You know what I mean? Come and get me 3 miles later. I was mad, but scared at the same time. Like, I hope there's nobody here.
Yeah.
So once I get to the trailer, I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I ran to him, snapped the leash on. I saw there was no coon. And right here was a window on the trailer. And why I looked, I have no idea. But right when I turned to look, there was a man looking out the window at me. Right? He was 12 inches from me. If he'd have knocked on that window, I'd probably still be laying there. What? You know what I mean? I screamed. I don't know how many times I screamed bad words as I ran to the truck. My whole body was like, you know what I mean?
To this day, you carry an extra pair of britches in the pant in the truck, don't you?
I carry a pistol on each hip. No, just kidding. Oh, about that. I thought of this the other day. I went coon hunting with a buddy of mine. Snow on the ground. It was the first couple of years I had a coon dog, and so I didn't really know what we were doing. It was season, so we were hunting. Didn't matter what the weather. We turned the dogs loose, and he's got more clothes on than he needs. He's a abominable snowman, right? It's cold out, I get it, but he's dressed like he's going bow hunting, going to sit all day. Well, whatever, everybody's different. And we start walking towards the dogs, and he just veers off to the left. And I'm like, where in the hell are you going? The dogs are over here. And he goes, oh, I got to take care of some business. It's like, hey, whatever, take your time, but hurry up. We got to go, So here he comes back, fully dressed, whatever. I don't know how long it was. It was longer than I thought it should take, but we go.
It only means one thing.
We go shoot the coon out. Or I don't know if we dug him out of a hole. I don't even remember what happened other than it was a long hike to the dogs, and we're coming back to the truck. We're talking and walking, and all of a sudden he veers off to the right. And I said, where are you going now? You got to go again? He says, no. He says, I'm going to go get my socks. And I said, your socks? He says, that's why I always wear 2 pair of socks. He said, and those are brand new. He says, I ain't going to leave them.
Oh my God.
I was like, you better tuck and roll those things and put them in your coat. I don't want any of that in my truck. Do you understand me? And he didn't understand why I was freaking out. It's a pair of socks. Here's $1. Go buy another pair. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I've never used a pair of socks to wipe before. I don't
But if
even
you
know.
did, you would leave them.
Yeah, you wouldn't get
Yes.
them. Yes, yes.
Leave them. I think the first time I ever did like any type of hunting or anything with you, I looked in your ammo bag. And I'm like, "What's the roll of toilet paper for?"
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got near your roll of toilet paper. I'm like, "Oh, I never thought about that."
I got a roll of toilet paper everywhere I go.
Every hunting truck I've ever had, that's what I have with in the glove box.
It's a necessity for
Yep.
sure.
I've hunted a long time, and I maybe went 3 times in the woods. I don't know what's the matter with you people. But my brother, every time he'd go hunting, he'd come back with a pocket missing, a hoodie, the hood missing on my sweatshirt. And he always, why are you wearing my clothes? You know what I'm saying? Wear yours if you're going to tear them up. The pocket ripped off the hoodie.
Oh my god.
He was good at it. But he went, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, I guess, right?
Oh boy.
I drive semi for a living, so I know the panic that you get whenever you gotta get somewhere. I understand. I understand.
Quick. You gotta get
Quick.
somewhere quick.
You're pulling over pretty quick. The worst thing is that you pass a sign that says next rest area 60 miles. Oh no,
You ain't making it.
I ain't making it.
Man pawing up.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good.
Is that why I saw a 5-gallon bucket in your truck?
Oh, you forgot the snap-on lid that's on there too. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, back to the coon hunting story. Like I said, you could tell a story every time you go, but you were talking about being right on top of a house. We had coon dog street right behind the guy's house, and it had a 2-track through a grass field to the house. So the guy was not. You could tell he didn't get very much company. So we go and we knock at the door. The light flips on in the front room, and it's like, every time you have to ask to get permission, it's always 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're waking somebody up. So you know that they're ticked off whenever they come to the door. Every time.
Unless the lights are off and he's just looking out the window at you.
about social anxiety.
So the light flips on in the living room, and I see the guy go over to the corner of the house, and he grabs a 12 gauge, and he's by a set of steps, and he reaches over and he grabs the shells and he loads it in the magazine.
While you're knocking?
I'm standing at the front door looking through the window at him. Then I see him. He chambers around, and the door opens real slow with the gun barrel out the door. What do you want? I'm thinking, this is it. I'm done.
He's about ready to see the other side.
So all I did was tell him my name and what we wanted, and he chuckled and he put the gun down and said, "Yeah, go ahead, it's fine." But it was like my heart's like fluttering in the meantime.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took him like a minute to he put every round in the gun that he could.
I'm just picturing him making eye contact with you while he's doing this.
As he's loaded his shotgun.
But you have to picture the guy too, which I left out of the story. He's got a beard down to here, and he's got real long hair, and he's like spooky looking. It was just spooky.
Looks like somebody that would shoot.
Oh boy, that was a pretty spooky night, but didn't last very long. He said it was okay. We could get our dogs, and that would happen just about every night that you go coon hunting, and the dogs always end up somewhere they're not supposed to be.
That's why I usually sneak in the best I can until somebody hollers. Then you got to go.
I usually tried to knock at the door.
Well, I did that a couple times, and I didn't like any part
it
of
doesn't
it.
work out very well a lot of times.
And I thought, they're scared. I'm scared. You stay in the house. I'll get my dog and I'll be gone. You know what I'm saying? If I got to go talk to somebody in their pajamas, they're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
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 And then, you know,
There's one story that you told, I remember. A dog treed in thick brush.
yeah. And cut
You know
out.
what story I'm talking about?
I think so.
All right, go ahead.
And me and my brother had to go get our dogs. We turned loose where we had permission, clear up over the hill. We drive around. We're like, oh, we think they're treed. We had the old beeper collar, so we wasn't sure. We drive around, and they're digging in a hole in the middle of a greenbrier multiflora rose patch where it was cut out.
Thicker neck.
Oh, I just really wanted to leave them. But anyhow, we couldn't. So we didn't go to the house. We didn't go to the door. We're like, this guy probably owns a 100-foot square patch, and that's fine. But he thinks he probably owns this whole hill. But we got to get the dogs.
Yeah.
So we crawled, and we'd stand up, and then we got to crawl. I'm digging through the brush with my rifle. We get the dogs out of the hole while we're on our belly. We crawl back out. We get back towards the end and starting to thin back out. But we took a shorter path. I'm like, we're going to the yard. I'm not going back twice as far, trying to sneak in.
Going
He
through
knows
the dude's yard.
he knows we're here. If he don't by now, he's sleeping and it's good. So we're going to go to the yard. So I'm leading my dog and I'm beating briars with my rifle. My brother's right behind me with his dog. And right when I get to the yard, there he stands on the edge of the briars about where that gator head is with a shotgun. No light, doesn't say nothing. He's just big bearded guy with a shotgun. And I'm expecting him not to be there because I haven't heard anything, haven't seen a light. And I just went, "Ah!" He don't move. I'm like, who is this guy? You know, it scared me so bad. I didn't say, hey, Corey, there's a guy here. I screamed first. "Wah!" You know, Corey. "Wah!" I scared him. Oh, we come up out of there, and I'm trying to explain to him. We turn loose over the hill. Our dogs are digging in this hole. We don't want to be here. We would never hunt here on purpose, you know. He says, you guys seem like a couple nice guys. And I'm going. And Corey's looking at him. He says, anytime you boys want to come over here and hunt, you just stop at the house and let me know you're here. And I'm like, what don't you understand? We don't want to be here. We won't be back. Thanks, but we won't be back.
There's certain parts of the country that you want to avoid at all costs with a coon dog, because if it has greenbriers cut out, if it's been logged, you avoid that like the plague. Every time you get close to it, your dog is going to be in the middle of it in a hole, and you're going to have to crawl in there and get it back out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was the story I was talking about. That was the story I wanted to hear.
Oh my gosh, scared. My heart's still.
Yeah, we've had times getting cold, have to stop and build a fire. One time I had another dog that coon climbed on top of a dog's head in a strip pit pond, and I shot the coon off the dog. Didn't kill the coon, or actually it killed the coon, but my dog was pretty close to drowning. It couldn't get out, so I had to jump in this ice cold
Muck.
There was snow on the ground, and I was up to my chest in water, and I grabbed a hold of the dog and got it to the bank. Of course, we're about 2 miles from the truck. So I start stripping the clothes off as fast as I can and wringing them out, trying to get as much water as I can out. We started marching for the truck. By the time I got to the truck, I had the keys, and I was shaking too bad. I couldn't get the key in the hole. Finally, I got the key in there, got the door unlocked, got in there, and I always carried an extra set of clothes. And I was hypothermic as you could get without killing over. Turned the heater on, stripped the clothes off, got the spare set of clothes, put them on, and went right to another spot and kept right on. Had it the rest of the night.
Oh, you guys have way more drive than I do. I couldn't have these experiences. That last one would just turn me off completely. I would probably never touch no, I'd be selling my dogs. I would never.
I had a good dog. He just went the wrong way.
We had lots of guys, friends that would hunt with us once.
Yeah.
Yep, our cousin
Hey,
Rob.
you want to go coon hunt again? Nope.
What turned Rob off? What Rob?
Well,
not like?
me and Corey used to hunt all the time, no matter what the weather. We just went, and it was snowing. It was cold. It was January. We probably shouldn't have been out there. We hiked around for a couple hours and just froze, and never shot a coon. We dropped Rob back off at his house, and he says, "Hey," he says, "next time you guys go hunting," I'm thinking he's gonna say, "Call me." He goes, "Don't be calling me." And that was the last time he ever went coon hunting with.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, we ruined a lot of good guys over trying to take him coon hunting.
Yep. Get into skunks or
Oh man, I could just imagine that.
Skunks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you have a young dog.
Something
that
you never really think
comes
about.
across a skunk and it's fighting a skunk, and you have to go in and get the dog off the skunk to get it back to the truck.
There's no good way to go about that.
There is no good way.
It doesn't matter how many change of clothes you got
Yeah.
after that.
no. Possum can ruin a good night too.
Yep.
Well, the same dog, that Mike dog, he never touched a possum. He run deer, but then he got over out and started treeing coon after he'd run a deer. He was night champion. And I was hunting one night, and he ran into a possum out in the field, and he enjoyed the heck out of that, baying it and chewing on it, baying it, chewing on it before I could get there. I thought, oh man, this could be a problem, because he seemed to enjoy it. Didn't think nothing of it. That Friday night, I mean, if you're hunting a night champion cast, if you tree a possum, you're scratched.
Scratch.
Go home.
You're eliminated.
If it's a registered cast before you're night champion, they just minus you. So he's now a night champion. My first night champion cast, I had first on a possum.
Oh, my God.
And-
Scratch you.
Scratch him.
And the best part was I had sold another dog to a guy, a good buddy of mine, Gene Flynn. He was in my cast. And I was laughing. I told Gene about that possum. I said, boy, I hope he don't tree any possum tonight. It might ruin our hunt. Here I had first with Mike on a possum.
Oh, my God.
Hey, if I remember right,
All three of us had to go home.
oh, jeez. If I remember right, that Mike dog was a litter mate to Rudder.
Rudder. Yep.
It was.
Yep.
They were brother and sister.
Yep.
They were
So
both good dogs.
I was hoping to find the possum and maybe tune him up or something before the next week. But I went to Philly, and I'm guiding night champion cast. First, possum again. Back-to-back Fridays, first dump, gone. Go home.
Oh man.
So I said, hey, this is my hunting spot. I said, I'm going to go to the truck, get a gun, knock that possum out, and work on this dog. If any of you want to wait around, you can enjoy it with me. And this one guy goes, thank God, buddy. He says, I'll wait for you. Well, this other couple, there was a man and woman with slick, had their kennels on their back of their coat. They were from Pennsylvania. The woman didn't appreciate my gesture. And she hollered at me the whole way back to the truck. I'm going to get you, Bart. I'm turning you into the Humane Society. I'm whatever. And I said, hey, whatever you want to do, I'm going to wait till you leave, and then I'm going to take care of it. So I had to wait till she left, went in there, and me and that guy, took care of it. He never treated a possum again.
Yep. A lot of times them dogs only need one bad experience with a off game, and they won't do it again.
Yep.
It's like I tried to explain to somebody yesterday, because my dog was doing something he shouldn't have done, and I got smacked him on the butt, and they're like, "Why do you smack your dog?" I'm like, "Well, it doesn't matter which." This is like one of those like liberal ladies that is part of my family for some reason, but
Can't
okay,
pick your
she ain't
relatives.
never gonna watch this. I don't
You can't
care.
pick your relatives.
No, but she's like, "Why do you smack your dog?" And she's getting all. I'm like, it doesn't matter what you do with your dog, whether you're gonna tone them or you're going to use a whistle, or you're going to smack them or shock them. It doesn't matter. Whichever avenue you choose, you got to have some sort of negative reinforcement to make your dog do what you want to do. So it is what it is, you know. You got to do what you got to do.
Gotta do something.
The dog's going to just keep doing what the dog thinks he wants to do until you tell him, right, you can't do that.
And if you can't figure it out, he's going to be miserable or make you miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
So then somebody else will be feeding him.
And it's the same way with your kids too. You gotta time out, or you smack their butts, or if you're in 1989, you probably use a paddle. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just what I was just about to say. A lot of dogs are like children. If they
Gotta
start
correct
getting away with something and you don't correct it, then they'll
get away
never,
with it.
They'll never stop doing that.
Yeah. And you would think that lady know it with the kennel and everything, and then she's in that atmosphere. She would understand that a little bit more.
You would think.
You'd think.
Yeah. I was very surprised.
Yeah. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
But yeah.
You want to tell them about your duck hunting in the boat? Stillwater.
We're going duck hunting stories now, huh?
We were trying to take.
First time we ever went.
We were trying to take a. We had 2 hours left.
Wait a minute. I'm not trying to give Matt all the credit, but it was all his idea.
We had 2 hours left of daylight. And unfortunately, we picked a 4-hour float.
Oh god.
Oh no.
I remember him telling me like it was yesterday, should only take us an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we'll be right back to our truck. Because we dropped off a truck, down the way. And go ahead.
Drove another truck around.
Floated to it.
We get in.
Tried to float to it.
We tried to float, but here the river was down,
Way down.
lower than normal. So we're dragging bottom half the time, so we have to keep getting out. And if we're not dragging bottom, we come across the fallen tree across the creek that we got to get out and pull the boat over top of it.
It was a workout. We had to keep getting out.
And it was a rowboat, so we're rowing, and we're rowing on the bottom of the boat drug most of the way.
You could just hear the rock.
So we're about 2 hours into this. We know it's getting dark, and then we know we have at least 2 hours to go. And the
Okay, now, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. This is the best part because I was thinking it was kind of funny. Well, it was Matt's idea, and it wasn't working. Nothing was working. We'd see the ducks every turn. Hey, there they are. Right there they are. And by the time you get up to them,
You drag bottom.
they'd take flight and go to the next bend.
Yeah.
And then they would sit
Just out
there.
of range.
They sit there and swim around like, here they come again. Well, out of the boat. All we did was carry the boat back in the water, carry the boat, and we're dragging bad one time. So it's automatic. We got to get out. Well, I'm kind of half chuckling anyway, quietly. And it takes a lot to get Matt mad. He's the most easygoing guy I know. But he was getting hot. And I went to get up, and he goes, sit down! And I'm like, what did I do? I'm going to run through this. And he went, boom! Busted it off.
Now
Now we're up shit creek with one paddle, just like the story says,
2 hours from the truck. It's dark, and we're still 2 hours from the truck.
Oh, geez.
No flashlights.
And this isn't a kayak or a canoe. It's a John boat. So he's going. Because we got 1.5 paddles left. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
We finally made it back, but it was pitch dark. No flashlights. Didn't have cell phones in. You turn your flashlight on so you can see where you're going. None of that.
Oh, it was a good time though.
Did you ever go duck hunting again after that?
Not with Matt.
I fixed it just like we fixed our cousin Robbie.
Hey, if I remember right, we got back way late. It's I don't know, 9 o'clock. I don't know. It was late, and we're sitting in the kitchen eating. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matt says, I forgot to call Wendy. That was his girlfriend at the time. And I'm like, what's a little late? You know, he says, I think we were supposed to go to a movie or something. And he called her. I'm sitting there eating whatever we were eating. And you can just hear her, where have you been? You know? And Matt's going like this. Oh, man. So that lasted longer than I thought it would. And then he hung up because she's like, I don't even want you to come over. So he hangs up. And I said, hey, you want to go coon hunting? He's like, we might as well. So I ran home and got my dogs, came back down, and we went coon hunting.
Oh, my God.
I forgot about that. But
Yep,
you're right.
that's what happened.
Oh,
That was a great day.
Yeah,
We got our exercise. That's
that's for sure.
oh shoot. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's we gotta get you back, get them ducks in.
Yeah, yeah.
So we better wrap this up here real quick. Well, Dan, I appreciate you coming out and sharing the stories with us.
sure.
Was he
pretty
full,
hilarious.
is he full of stories?
Yeah, I'd say so.
He's got more. Let me tell you, he's got more
We have to
stories.
get you out here again. And we definitely gotta get you in this deer camp. The deer drive is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Here the last year, every time we go hunting, like Tucker said, we end up telling more stories than we do hunting.
That's the most
Yeah.
fun.
But
And I told Matt I'm not
makes it
coming
all
if you're not going to be my guide. Don't be sloughing me off on somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
boy.
Tyson did a couple of our hunts. He's awesome too. But you know,
Blowing smoke up. His
Don't
butt.
don't say that too loud.
yeah, he's a good dude.
No, you're not supposed to say that.
And you wouldn't be able to skin those birds near as fast if it wasn't for all my tips.
Yeah, you gotta. He gives me pointers
Every
as
time
I'm
I come
cleaning.
down, I read up on it and give him one more little niche. And then he pays me.
If it wasn't for if it wasn't for Dan, I wouldn't even be cleaning birds. You know.
Nope, you'd be like, ah, have to do it yourself.
Well, shoot. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up here. As always, be a friend, tell a friend about us. You find us on YouTube and Instagram, Triple T Outdoors, and then our email if you want to reach out, ask any questions or anything like that. outdoorsttt@gmail.com.
Tell us some of your stories, your hunting stories.
Yeah, share some pictures with us, and
We're hoping somebody killed some geese or some
yeah,
teal.
more than 4. It's Roger killed 4 this
Roger
morning.
killed 4 this morning. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get some of those breasts and make pastrami with them.
Oh yeah.
For him. So we're going to talk about that. But yeah, that's we're on the hunt this year of making Canadian geese taste good. And
It's pretty hard.
Good luck.
yeah,
good
we're
luck.
trying. We're trying.
Hey, I hear you boil it once, like you normally would. Dump the water out, put fresh water in, boil it the second time. Day and night difference. Seriously,
For real?
for real.
I know the best way to fix it.
Oh God, we don't want to hear your.
Put it in a frying pan of butter, lightly done on one side, lightly done on the other side. You take it and you throw it away and you eat the frying pan.
On that note, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you guys,
Triple
see you guys
T
next time.
Triple T out.